Well, first I want to clarify, I'm not fake Steve Jobs.
Most people, some people here, but I don't think most people know that there was actually some Microsoft software in that Apple II computer. Do you want to talk about what happened there, or how that occurred?
The original Apple II BASIC, the integer BASIC, we had nothing to do with. But then there was a floating point one where, and I mostly worked with WAS on that.
Let me tell this story. So WAS, and so we're getting a lot of input that people want this BASIC to be floating point. And like we're begging WAS, please make this floating point.
Who's we? How many people are in Apple?
Well, me. Yeah. We're begging WAS to make this floating point. And he just never does it, you know, and he wrote it by hand on paper.
And how much was I think you were telling us earlier?
That was $31,000.
That Apple paid you for
the floating point BASIC. And I flew out to Apple. I spent 2 days there getting the cassette. The cassette tapes were the main ways that people stored things at the time.
Right.
And, you know, that was fun. And so we were working together. The schedules were uncertain. The quality was uncertain. The price. When Steve first came up, it was going to be a lot cheaper computer than it ended up being, but that was fine. So we made this bet that the paradigm shift would be graphics interface, and in particular that the Macintosh would make that happen with 128K of memory, 22K of which was for the screen buffer, 14K was for the operating system. So it was
14K. Yeah, 14K.
Yeah, and we were actually negotiating a deal to invest and make some commitments and things with Gil Amelio. Next thing I knew, Steve called me up and said, "Don't worry about that negotiation with Gil Amelio. You can just talk to me now." And I said, "Wow."
How do you look at yourselves in this landscape today?
Because you are competitors in certain ways, which is the American way, right?
We watch the commercials.
And you get annoyed at each other from time to time.
You know what? I have to confess, I like PC Guy better.
Yeah, he's great.
I like him.
The art of those commercials is not to be mean, but it's actually for the guys to like each other.
Thanks.
PC Guy is great.
I like PC.
Got a big heart.
And in a few cases like the Zune, that if you go over to that group, they think of Apple as a competitor. They love the fact that Apple's created a gigantic market, and they're going to try and come in and contribute something to that.
And we love them because they're all customers.
The same processor, essentially, that the Mac had. This is one of those great ironies. They were switching away from that processor while the Xbox 360 was adopting it, but for good reasons, actually, in both cases. We try and do things that way. So that was the development system for the early people getting their software ready for the introduction of Xbox 360.
And we never ran an ad on that.
I see. Admirable restraint. That's wonderful.
There were hundreds of them.
Steve is so known for his restraint.
But what's the greatest misunderstanding between you and your relationship and about each other? What would you say would be this idea of catfight, this idea of which one of the many?
We've kept our marriage secret for over a decade now.
Canada. That trip to Canada. Mm-hmm. Was there?
Generally, we were both the youngest guys in the room, right? Individually or together. I'm about 6 months older than he is, but roughly the same age. And now, when we're working at our respective companies, I don't know about you, but I'm the oldest guy in the room most of the time. And that's why I love being here. And so
happy to oblige. Happy to oblige.
And I think of most things in life as either a Bob Dylan or a Beatles song. But there's that one line in that one Beatles song. You and I have memories longer than the road that stretches out ahead, and that's clearly true here.
Well, you know what? I think we should end it there. Let's just end it there.
I'm going to have a little tear right here.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Sure. you.
Thank you.